What really happened to Flight 370? The biggest and the strangest mystery in the history of airplanes, the Malaysian plane MH370, took off on March 8, 2014 and disappeared from existence. And until today, they don't know where it landed, where it settled, or anything about the plane. The number of passengers was 239 passenger. The plane took off from Kuala Lumpur, and it was supposed to be heading to Beijing International Airport in China. The flight was 6 hours long, and after 20 minutes of taking off, the plane reached a height of 35,000 feet. And finally, after the plane arrived to the Vietnamese watchtower, the last word they heard before the strange disappearance was, "Good night." And the biggest mystery in the airplane history started from here. The plane disappeared as if it never took off, and there was nothing on the radar at all. The rescue team started to search for it everywhere in the air, the sea, the oceans. They spread in the area 34 ships and 28 planes for 7 countries that participated in the search, but they didn't find any trace of the plane. After the investigators reviewed the satellite system, they noticed that the plane continued to fly for more than 7 hours after disappearing, and this is what made the subject more mysterious. Many theories have emerged trying to explain the mystery of Flight 370, but until today, no single theory has been confirmed. A very large search was carried out. It was considered the largest of its kind in history, where it cost about $150 million, and 36 countries were involved, including an area of 120,000 square kilometers in the south of the Indian Ocean, near Australia, when it was believed that the plane had fallen there. But after months of continuous search and investigation, the plane was not found. The National Transportation Safety Board came up with some theories, one of them that there was a fire inside the plane. And that's what caused all the communication systems to stop, and the plane to disappear, and the oxygen was cut off. The passengers died, the captain died, and some of these strange movies because when the investigators reviewed the materials that were charged in the plane, they found 450 pounds of lithium for the batteries and the ignition cable, and this could have caused a fire in the charging station. But if it was true that there was a fire, the pilots tried to go back to the same airport they took off from, or to land at the nearest airport for them to evacuate. So here the investigators have completely ignored the fire, and that it could have caused the plane to disappear. After several theories, the investigators did not reach any conclusion, which made them close the case. Then, all the victims' families united in a foundation to collect donations to continue the search. Suddenly, a US or British investigator came out and decided to search in a different way, because every year the search was lost. The authorities were searching in the wrong areas according to him. This investigator tried to build new hypotheses for the flight path in the event of an emergency. He assumed that if the plane was going in this direction, suddenly there is an emergency. Where could it go? What could the captain think at that time? So this investigator started building different hypotheses and used a new technique to track the flight path. And he was able to determine how many areas and go to these areas and use the fishermen who have boats to sail most of the African coasts, and the areas that he determined. And he was able to find the remains of the Malaysian plane wreck on the beaches. At first, he thought that this wreck was not the Malaysian planes. But when he sent it to the authorities, they confirmed that these parts belonged to the Malaysian MH370. And this investigator was able to collect about a third of the plane's body from 6 different countries. But there are many more hypotheses with or against this investigator. They assumed that all these parts are fake because he wanted to do a propaganda. And this is almost the most correct theory. And the Malaysian MH plane, which had 239 passengers, now sank in the darkness of the ocean, diving at a depth of 4,000 meters. This depth is considered a mountainous area under the sea, in the Indian-Australian Ocean. However, there are many other proposed theories that can be mentioned in another time. Tell me what you think.